Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Reborn from Legit. Today I wanted to have a video guide describing the gist and basics and understanding of Dervish VoS. VoS meaning Vow of Strength, the elite, overpowered skill that dervishes have. So the first part of this guide, I want to be sure that everybody that's planning to be a Dervish VoS spiker or as well as be a part of having the appropriate skill set, equipment, and proper runes attired to their dervish whenever they're doing speed clears, dungeons, or even casual PvE. Even if you've already been doing it, you may have been doing a few minor things different or wrong as you may not have known until today. So first thing and foremost, I want to include that you always need to ensure you have a customized Q9 scythe, not Q10, not Q11, but a Q9. The reason for this is that most of your VOS bars that you're going to be running in your runs are going to be requiring 9 Scythe Mastery. So if you go ahead and run a require 10 Scythe Mastery, scythe that you wield, you might not benefit maximum slashing damage you get from your scythe. Also, ensure you have a customized scythe require 9, not require 10 or 11 customized, but require 9. And make sure you have that customized because you see here it says 20% extra. That's going to be a huge difference when you're doing these big group spikes. All right, also you want to ensure you have the proper gear. So the armor doesn't matter, like meaning if you go and get it in Norn, Eye of the North, the End Primeval, or just Camadon, the Consulate Docks armor, that's doesn't matter. It's all appearance based. It's all the same. As long as you have max armor 70, that's all you need. So as far as runes go for your equipment, you have to have 16 Earth Prayers. So you're going to have that Earth Prayers headpiece as well as your 3 Earth Prayers rune added to it. As well as for the rest of your gear for the insignias, you need to ensure you have times 5 the Windwalker. Windwalkers are probably about 80 to 100 platinum now for the set of 5. So they get pretty pricey because they're not overly farmed, so there's more demand than there is actual selling. Another thing is ensure you got, if you can't afford a superior vigor plus 50, go ahead and get the 41, but work on saving towards the 50. Here, this one's a little up in the air between Dervish's VOS running +1 or +2 for their Mysticism. I always run +2 just because I prefer to get the extra 4% cost reduction for my energy. The reason I say this is I run heavy pecans, as you can see here, candy corn, apple, and the cupcake, so that gives me an extra 20 energy and 200 health, which is going to benefit me a lot for my energy management, but at the same time, I'm going to have that health to compensate for that rune that I add in there for the minus 35 health. But if you hover over this mysticism, if that's how you pronounce it, you can see that it says you have a 4% difference in energy cost per one. Plus in PvE, you have +1 armor per rank. So why wouldn't you want to up your mysticism? I'm sure you could even go ahead and run a superior minus 75, but I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. So I think going with a +2 mysticism would be best there, as well as a +1 or +2 scythe. I go ahead and run the +2 and I'll describe this now. Right now you can see after my runes and my overpowered VOS bar I'll put in the description, it is at 8 right now. So when you hit that con set you run up, you will go ahead and hit the 9th Scythe Mastery. So whether you have candy corn or a con set, you'll hit that 9th Scythe Mastery. You can even lower your scythe, but it's not going to gain any more to your mysticism than it already is without you going down to 5 scythe, and that's going to make you have to run lunars in order to keep up with that 9 scythe. So now to go down to the gist, the rest of the bar after you get your scythe, your mist, your superior vigor, and earth prayers, you need to ensure you just add an attunement at the end of that. You can add the option of an attunement, or you can put the vigor in there for extra HP, but I do the attunement. It's just 2 energy. All right, now let's go ahead and boil down to business for VOS. The ones that do not understand the bar, this is the base bar that I'm going to go ahead and put in description. Work towards getting your Norn title track to 20. I'm lazy. I'm only at 18 seconds, but if you're at rank 5, you have 20 seconds for your Norn. That'll give you the full output for your I am unstoppable Norn skill to give you 20 seconds. That's just rank 5 Norn. Outside of that, you should be safe. Also, you can get the Ebb and Battle Vanguard Assassin, the standard of honor that you can use for some of the elite runs, especially Foul Speed Clear when you solo an area there. Or when you're farming, you could do that. But for now, this is the main focus on the guide for beginners for Dervish VoS. So enough talking for me. I've been here for 3.5, 4 minutes now. All right, so let's go ahead and boil down to business. I chose this area outside of Great Temple of Balthazar. This is a great area that you can practice where you're not going to get attacked back and you can actually understand, hey, what do I do with my skills? What am I going to use them for? So the way I have the equipment set out is the way you're going to cast all of your skills. So skill 1, skill 2, followed by 3, 4, 5, etc. Those are going to be your skill order when you do go in for a spike. So whether you're doing a foul speed clear, bog speed clear, etc., what I just typed, you're going to be using this bar for all of those roles. You can use the same bar, this bar for all of those roles. There might be minor modifications depending on the team, but for the gist, this is it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a quick gist summary of how this works. See how fast everything loads up. You use sand shards, VoS, your elite, staggering, and then you can death charge into your big mob and you immediately earmites. Usually, sometimes if you're going into groups as a tank, you want to have Mirage Cloak up prior to death charging in, but you should be safe without it. So after that, you need to ensure you go ahead and maintain all of your enchantments. See how strong the dervishes are, and they spike so aggressively when they go in and do their spikes. So it's kind of self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised at how complicated it can become when you're spiking if you're properly doing it or not. Because a lot of dervishes are going to just go straight in, just like this. They're going to just death charge in, and then they're using their skills. See, look at how weak this is. Right here, I'll sit in the middle. I'll attack this one in the middle. You can't even target in here. That's lame. Anyway, see how weak you are? And the moment that you put in that extra sand shard, see the difference you get on that output for those few hits just by using the rest of your enchantments prior to going in. So those few seconds that you prep while running, it's a flash enchantment, so you're able to cast while running outside of your elite skill VoS. You can prepare for a spike. So make sure anytime you're going in for a spike, ensure you have that order. Always cast sand shards and vow of strength prior to staggering, because when you death charge in, you're going to immediately use Earmite's attack for your skill following that. And Earmite's attack, what it does is its removal effect gives an additional 6 damage and adjacent. So you're removing that staggering force, and that staggering force as well applies that extra damage to nearby foes as well. So that's a huge benefit when you're going in for a spike, as well as inflicting cracked armor for nearby foes. So I mean, you can see how strong dervishes are way overpowered than back when before dervishes came out in Nightfall, when warriors used to be the thing. So especially when you do foul speed clear, this would definitely be a great build to use for that and to understand. But that's really about the summarization of what a VoS Derv does. I mean, there's really so much, only so much you can explain regarding this, but you can also adjust your death charge out in for Ebon Escape if you're going in on a spike, like say your assassin main team tank is tanking and foul speed clear, or like deeper Urgas, you can Ebon Escape into that tank and then spike. But that's the summary of how a Derv VoS should be: the equipment, the armor, the tributes required. Ensure you have your 8 to 9 Scythe, 16 Earth, 12 to 13 Mysticism, and ensure you properly have your skills as set aside here, and I'll put in description. So if y'all have any questions regarding the Dervish VoS, this is probably the best bar you can use for speed clears, dungeons, and casual PvE. I wouldn't recommend PvP because it's modified. It's still a really strong build, and you can do a lot of solo farms. So anyway, I hope y'all give this a thumbs up. If y'all have any ideas or suggestions or questions regarding this Dervish VoS build bar, or anything that you think you would like me to create a guide or video on for any profession, or even farms for dervishes, let me know and I'll work on it. But this is Reborn from Legit, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.